So with this chapter of Eden Zero, we finally get to see what Homra has been keeping in store for us, and that is the fact of her ether ability being that of conjuring a blade of some sort, which seemingly has 5 different forms, and how she entirely views herself as being this noble knight, and with Sister's plan to go to talk with Illiga as well, where it's like, it seems like now with 3 factions kind of going their own separate way on there, where we've got one side being obviously everything that's going on with like obviously with everyone with the BQs with Illiga. There's the Sister side, and then there's also Shiki side with like Homra right now, which there's a few things going on right now in this chapter. But first, let's go and talk about the fact that with Homra and Shiki confronting Sister, and immediately like first thing that does, like Pino immediately goes, wait a minute, I'm going to send this to the witch. I need to go and send this right now and all that. It's like, I'm seeing this and all that, and I can't believe I'm hearing her name here, but it's like, she's saying, like, well, there is something interesting about this, where it's like, are you actually taking this in right now, like, Miss Witch and all that? Like, do you see that? And she's even, like, mentioning things like, that is not the sister that I know, that outer appearance, but however, her ID code is a match, and I don't understand what is happening here, so something is amiss with her, like, if anything, and all that. It has a code, but not her, like, design outlet, and, like, exactly as well, like, with how she's, like, happening here. So, like, just keep a close eye on what exactly is going on with this girl, because maybe she, like, we don't know what's happened with her. Maybe she got corrupted. Maybe the fact of the matter is that somehow changed her appearance as well, and it's just like, look, at the end of the day, kid, and all that, it's like, there's no good or bad at mercenary works. There's only contracts. You just gotta understand that. And he's like, and Shiki's like, I want my friend back. You were taken away from them to give him over. And he's like, I see. Then this isn't a request then, but I would happy to give them back to you for double the price. Look, it's important to, like, you know, be trusted by the client, and any job that has any conflicts will not be accepted. And it's just like, Shiki's having none of it and all that. It's just like, where is it? It's like, oh, goodness, like, looks like this is going to be a bit of the trouble. Boys, take care of this, and, like, summing a bunch of just mindless grunts all around them, and it's just like, you know, they seem to be trouble and all that with a business part that I need to take care of. And it's like, try to keep the dead bodies intact, and it's like, I'm going to and then mentions, I'm going to fix them up and make them my soldiers later. So whether or not this is the same with these, with these guys as well, where it's like, she clearly is, like, redoing bodies, like she's like cutting them up and is like, no, I'm going to like enhance them, and Shiki having none of it, just jumping around using these ether gear, like crushing down these soldiers. Like, again, they're mindless drones, like, don't expect anything from them. And like immediately, like, there's even a homing missile that's going after him, like, as he's chasing down. It's like, oh shit, like, you know, jumping all around like that. And then second in, Homra comes in with a blade and just cuts the missile clean in half. Anime explosion going in the back. You know, cool people don't run from explosions starts going off. Like, and then you see what exactly she has. And this is ether like sword going around with like all these little marks going across. Doesn't really look like a sharp blade whatsoever. Like, it's like this very weird, like, kind of pattern going around it. Like, it looks honestly like a bunch of, like, tubes stick together. It looks like a bunch of, like, styrofoam, like, just, like, put all together. And how she calls this ability, she addresses this as Soul Blade. And Shiki's like, yo, you're a samurai? That's sick. And she's like, I'm a knight, if you anything and all that, but I'm gonna just keep that to myself right now. And you see that's like, it's not just one blade. She's able to split it and do, like, she calls it like a 5-form sword, like leopard stance, and it was like pulling out like this really short blade as well, and able to just conjure. And like immediately, where it's like she's addressing this and all that, saying like, do you really think that you can take us out just with like one of you? And immediately she's like, you're seeing that she has enhanced speed with this ability. Like, she's able to use these very seamlessly. Like, she's able to like just grab the blade, go on there, just take the grunts, and it's like, I want to kind of see what these sort of abilities can do against like a real foe. Like, even as well with Witch, like, she mentions as well about this, where it's like, that sword, like, she's clearly seen that sword before and that ability. And even how Homra said, like, this was bestowed upon by her master, like a holy gift, as she like put down to it. And it was like, this was made, and this was ability was created to defeat the Demon King itself. So we don't know anything else other about abilities that she has really enhanced, like reflexes. We know exactly as well that her speed is kind of like off the edge right now, whereas like she's deflecting bullets. Like she can see like goddamn bullets at the human eye. Like, and even as well, we find out her full name, which is Homra Kogetsu. So what exactly like Homura has in mind for Shiki, and like what exactly is her whole ordeal. The fact is, well, like she thinks she's like some holy knight. That's like she clearly like classifies herself to that, and whether that's like who exactly her like master is, the one that taught her this ability, we didn't get it. Like the fact is, the matter is that we still don't know more of the explanation about how really ether gears work. Like, we've even seen the fact that, like, you know, goddamn Rebecca just got one recently. Like, pretty much every single character in this series that we've seen has had an ether gear, and there's still not really more of the full explanations, you know, like, to more about it. Again, like, we've had the tiniest bit of, like, very early chapters in kind of describing them, but we haven't had more. I feel like at some point we will get more of a dive-in with these abilities, more about kind of about their origin especially as well, but at the moment, like, again, they're just saying, oh, it's magic, don't worry about it, you know, it's, you know, a special ability, like, ether gear, like, it just works that way, and especially with, like, you know, he's like, okay, Homer is like, you go and take care of, like, Rebecca and all that, and it's just like, immediately it's like, you know, after this and all that, you're gonna have a match with me, because I need, you're apparently the Demon King now, and he's like, sure, fine, but just don't die on me right now. And notice, like, how that panel is exactly kind of, like, a weird, like, parallel compared to, like, you know, the Rebecca and Shiki one, where it's, like, you know, it's a little bit more of the serious kind of, like, face that they have on there, and it's, like, consider that one is filled with joy, this other one's a little bit more, like, kind of, like, serious, and, like, kind of, like, oh, it seems like something's happening, like, going down there, so curious to see more what like her abilities and all that, because clearly she's keeping some stuff like Ace and Hole. She's just, all we know so far is that it can turn into like just a normal katana kind of like looking blade. We can know it can turn into a 2-1, like a very smaller kind of like a dagger as well, that, you know, you see some people I know there's like a fighting style that is like a lot more like where you use one blade and then you have a shorter blade by your side, and that's normally used to like kind of parry in a way. But overall, like, again, like, Homura's abilities, there's still nothing too really insanely crazy about it. Like, again, like, she looked like some, like, with her ability and everything, it kind of looked like she was going to use a blade or something, or she was going to have some kind of interesting ability. Again, it wasn't, like, over the top, again, like, maybe, like, will she do some crazy stuff like we've seen, again, like, we've seen Urza from Fairy Tail do a lot of stuff with blades and everything, like, she was able to use re-equip magic. Like, what is the extent of these abilities? Like, can she, like turn this like sword into just anything? Like, is it one of those abilities, or does it have to be a blade of some sort? So far we've only seen like the forms that, like, there's a restricted amount of forms that it can do, and seemingly it can be just, all we know right now is just with the blade and being called Soul Blade, it's like it seemingly can probably turn into katanas, into daggers, into a great sword, into like a bunch of different like odachis and like all other manners of things on there. So we'll have to see about that. But when we get to Sister, and we go and see her like trying to like escape on her shells and trying to get Illiga, they mention as well that apparently they haven't even been paid yet, and they're quite pissed. There's a matter of saying that they brought bad luck to us, because apparently they promised to give them 30 B-Cubers, however they are missing one at the moment, and they are like, why don't we have a little talk with them? Like, this weird flaps come out of their face, and it's a really creepy looking face, and it's like, we need to be on good relationships with our client, right? So I'm gonna have a little chat with them. Because of the matter of fact is, like, we've pretty much held up our end of the bargain, you aren't holding up yours. Where's the money? And all we know so far is that, like, as they're translating over and all that, that was the end of the chapter, where, like, Shiki is going in there as just, like, that he is, like Spider-Man right now, like, clinging onto, like, the back of the spaceship right now, and he's just like, I'm coming, Rebecca, just hang in there. I'm just gonna bide my time, where it's like, holy shit, Shiki's actually using his head at the moment. Thank you. Like, if it was, like, anyone else, he would have been like, like, say, like, example, Natsu, where it's like, Natsu, again, the thing is, like, even though, like, I've enjoyed theirs, and I think mentioned that as well, Natsu is an idiot. he can on like in the middle of combat come up with like a smart idea or like able to dodge. Like he was like if anything like in the heat of battle he knew what he was doing. But again, if this was Natsu, he would have just screamed, or he would have just like punched into the hole like that and then dragged them and say, all right, where's Rebecca? Instead, Shiki's doing something a little bit out of the way where it's like, okay, I just need to bide my time, just wait, they're gonna take me to her, and then you can go gung-ho and see it. Well, if he wants to be a bit more smart than that, he can actually go and try and sneak in and actually wait until, like, you know, the coast is clear and try and see, like, look a bit in their defenses, whether or not, like, there's something with their guard duty, because clearly the fact of the matter is that we are now going to be leading up into a three-way, like, confrontation at the moment between Illiga's people, between Sister, and now Shiki, and now we're getting the side part as well with Homra going on there. Overall, like, I don't think this was an insane chapter. It was more just setting out the fact of, like, the main stopper of the show was like, oh, here's Homura's ability, and it wasn't too insane, but it's the fact that it's like, oh, she's got some cool, like, sword abilities and all that. It's like, I look forward to seeing more of that in the future, hopefully, that, like, what exactly more forms of, like, just either, like, can she do with conjuring that blade, more, it was setting up a little hint, is like, okay, there's clearly something up with Sister right now, or Sister has either been, like, reprogrammed in some manner of way, or she is conducting this for a reason. Like, the fact of the matter is that this is not her true form. This is not, like, what she normally looks like, and I think it's, like, this very weird nun kind of looking idea. So whether or not, like, what's exactly happened to her might be in light as well to maybe what happened to the other 4 people of Eden Zero as well, with, like, the 4 people that protect it. So very curious. Again, if anything, I think it was a 6, if anything. I mean, I know I don't normally do ratings as much as I used to nowadays, but if it was, I would either give it a 5.5 to a 6. I thought it was a fine chapter. I wasn't overly, there was no part of the chapter where I was, like, losing my mind, going, oh my god, like, exciting, but again, like, it's still setting itself up and all that, and again, I would rather have, like, parts where I enjoyed or have a little chuckle here and there than just one where I'm like, I'm flat out bored. And I know I wasn't. I just, again, I want a little bit meat to the substance on there. But that is all from me, though. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you guys, though, next time.